Good morning, everybody. Today I thought that we would do another what I eat in a day, except today I'm not going to try and cram it into 3 minutes like I did the last time. I am starting off with my favorite food ever, and that is coffee with cream. Of course, this is decaf. If you're new to my channel, we talk about anything salicylate related. So I'm sensitive to salicylates, which is what my channel is about. It is a natural aspirin compound in foods, and I used to be all the time sick. Like I have muscular dystonia. I have had stomach problems, migraines, all sorts of things, and skin problems, and going low salicylate made a huge difference for me. So that's the reason I made this channel, because I want other people to consider that as a possibility to why they might be unwell, and to consider it as an option for a pathway to health. I recommend you talk with your doctor or dietitian about it, but overall it can be a pretty healthy diet. A lot of people, from a first glance perspective, realize that when you eliminate most fruits and vegetables that it's not like super healthy, but the thing is that health looks different for everybody, and for me, health is a low salicylate diet. So join me. I'm just waking up, so I'm a little bit sleepy, but I'm going to start my day off with decaf coffee, some farm fresh heavy cream that gets delivered to my doorstep. I'm so grateful for that. This just made a world of difference for us to get some dairy and eggs delivered, and I love that. And today is a work day. Even though you'll be seeing this on the weekend, it's a work day, so you'll be seeing me in and out, popping in and out between meetings and tasks. I woke up and yesterday was gorgeous. It was a balmy, sunny 45 degrees, and today it's like sideways snow blizzard. I think we probably got, it looks like a good solid 2 inches of snow last night, and the rest of the snow we had almost all melted. We've just had some big mounds. So I was hoping to go on a walk today, but it might not happen. I do have a chin-up exercise plan that I have to do, so it might be a treadmill day for a couple, just to get moving. I'll do that later. We'll wait and see if it clears up enough to go for a walk. But I don't remember what I all have planned for eating, but I do have some chicken broth that I made and some noodles. So I probably will make like a chicken noodle soup, and I also have a chicken that I need to cook in the oven. I'm not going to eat that, but I'm going to I'm going to cook it for meal prep for later in the week. So I'll show you how I do that. Really simple. And other than that, I'll see you at my next cup of coffee. Hello. Okay. I did not expect this today, but I am booked back to back on meetings. So I haven't had breakfast. It's just about noon, and I will not have another break until 2. So I'm going to eat lunch at 2. I am going to make, I literally have 5 minutes. I'm going to make oatmeal, a minute and a half with some water, and works for me. I mean, it's not like gourmet or anything, but it's great when you only have a few minutes. So I'm going to put some pecans in it, some maple syrup, and a little bit of butter. I've got to go, but I will see you at lunch, and we'll spend a little bit more time making something fun. Hello. So the last time you saw me, my coffee pot was pouring, and I just wasn't able to get my coffee done in time before my next meeting. So I ran up to my next meeting, and I texted my husband, and I was like, can you bring me my coffee so I can have it during my meeting? Because I was hungry, because I was hoping that I could eat earlier, but it just didn't happen. So I took a picture of for you guys at my desk of my coffee that was delivered. So there you go. I had a cup of coffee since I saw you last, and now I'm actually very hungry. The oatmeal did hold me over, but I am ready for some good, tasty, warm stuff to eat. So I'm gonna make some, I thought chicken soup, but I'm actually gonna make it with shrimp. I made some chicken broth a couple days ago, so it's just, I literally just cook a chicken carcass in water for like 3 or 4 hours, and that's what I'm working with today. I haven't added any salt or anything. So I'm starting off with a little bit of water in the pan. I'm gonna get that heated up. Then I'm adding the broth that I prepared in advance from chicken that I had cooked. While that's heating up, I'm going to add a handful of leeks and bring that to a boil. Now that it's heated up, I'm going to add my noodles. And I never break my noodles, I just let them kind of heat up and melt slowly into the pan. These are soba buckwheat noodles. They're buckwheat and whole wheat and organic, and they're pretty tasty. After those are about halfway done, I'm going to add the shrimp. So if this is just frozen shrimp, I'm adding. These have tails on. I prefer tails off, especially for soup, so you're not fishing the tails out. But that's okay. This is what I got today and I'm gonna use. So once those shrimp are pink and cooked and my noodles have softened, then I can finish the soup off. I like finishing it off with a little bit of cilantro leaves. This is probably about 3 stems of cilantro, so it's not a lot. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of wheat germ oil. This adds both a slightly nutty flavor and a little bit of color, which is nice, especially since us low-sal folks don't get a lot of color. And then some soy sauce. Sometimes I'll bring this to the table because I don't really know how much I need, so that way I can add some more later. Now that it's all done, I'm gonna serve it up and enjoy it. This soup is not super attractive, mostly because the buckwheat soba noodles are brown. If I use like a white noodle, the yellow is really pretty with it, and it looks really good with the shrimp. But it's still delicious, so what are you gonna do? Yep, that's tasty. Ooh, that's good. Yum. All right, I'll be back to talk to you in a second. All right, I'm feeling so much better now. So it's 3:30. Usually I eat lunch at like noon or 11, or noon to 1-ish. So today it was just stacked all day, all morning. So I've got probably about 2 more hours of work left to do for the day because that's just how it is. I have to finish some tasks, so I'm gonna head back up and start working on that. But I wanted to talk a little bit about my soup because I basically made it and you guys might have some questions. So the first is my leeks. When I go grocery shopping, I go like once a month or once every 2 months or 3 months. And it's just because I live in a rural area. So what I'll do is I'll take the leeks and I will clean them and chop them up and freeze them. They freeze really well. That way, if I'm, got a really crazy day, I can just pull out a couple of leeks and throw them in a soup or in mashed potatoes or, anything that I want. Eggs on top of steak is really nice. So that's great. The really nice thing about that is I never, ever, ever waste a single bit of leek by them just spoiling in my vegetable drawer. So something to think about. That might be something you might want to start. It is a food that has been historically low in salicylates. With the bound salicylates, Malachar moved it into the medium list, but that doesn't mean everybody reacts to them, to those bound salicylates. So that's something to think about. I usually just use them in small amounts and I'm fine with that. I also use cilantro, and same thing. It used to be low. I don't think that one's been retested, but ARPA has listed that as high. I started using it about maybe 4 or 5 months ago. It's delicious, and I never use more than like 3 or 4 sprigs at a time, and I love it. I love the little tiny bit of flavor and trust it adds, and I don't have a reaction to it. I'm sure if you're using a lot of it, that's probably gonna happen. But like I said, it used to be tested low. It's never been retested, but it's been reclassified as a higher herb. And so something to think about. Parsley is in the same boat, but I don't like the way parsley tastes. I like cilantro a little bit better. Cilantro, I think, is called coriander, like the vegetative coriander in other countries. But this is very different than the coriander seed. Coriander seed or cilantro seed is very high in salicylates, so stay away from that. The wheat germ oil, that is one that is kind of new to me and I really like it. I think I was looking for omega-3 options to add to my diet. I thought I'd give wheat germ oil a try. What I like about it is that it's basically like in soup. For me, it's a little bit like a sesame oil substitute. So I really like that nutty, rich, aromatic like flavor that sesame oil gives. It just adds a nice finish. I always add it to the very end, don't add it to the beginning, and it adds a really nice yellow color. And then the noodles, I love the little Asian noodles like the udons and sobas, and I'll get those. These are organic that I get, and it's usually just wheat and something else, and they don't put any folic acid in it, so I don't need to worry about that. So these were a buckwheat and whole wheat noodle, and they're pretty tasty. The unfortunate thing about this noodle is that they're brown, so it's less attractive. It would be nice to make this stir fry with like neon green things to add to it, so like the leeks or green onions or maybe just a little tiny bit of cilantro, and have that green and brown look, that contrast. That would be really, oh yeah, and celery. That would be a really pretty contrast. Just like I used to make a kind of a salsa with black beans and green onions and celery, and that was really pretty. That's kind of what it reminds me of. So yeah, I think that's everything I put in there. I put in the gluten-free soy sauce, which I've been using for like 13 years. Or you can use other soy sauces, but this is just the one that I like. It's delicious. And every once in a while, I'll use something different. Oh, hi, kitty. Meow. Easily distracted. Oh, and the shrimp. Yeah, shrimp is also something that's really nice and easy to keep in your freezer. You can pull it out whenever. I have seen lists that say that shrimp and lobster and crab are higher in salicylates. That is true, and I just want to say that it is higher, but it's not high. So it just has a smidge more. It's still in the negligible list when they were tested, so don't shy away from shrimp products or seafood. The only thing that I would recommend is stay away from any shrimp that has they put sulfites in shrimp for years and years and years. Now they have to declare it, and it depends on where you are in the world. So something to think about is try and find, shrimp and seafood that does not have sulfites. So if you can do that. Sulfites aren't salicylates, but there are people that react to it. You don't want to be reacting to things while you're avoiding something and then thinking that it's that something. So, try and keep your food really clean and you know what's in them. Yeah, I think that's it. It's so late in the day and I feel like I've been rushing all day that I think it might be a good time to add my snack while I'm sitting down and I'm relaxed before I go back. So I think I'm gonna make myself my third cup of coffee, and I'm looking this way because it's in my view here. I think I am going to, Randy made something special yesterday. So the rule in the house is if there's 2 bananas left and they are ripening, and you can just leave them on the counter. I mean, you can leave them on the counter for like a week and a half. 2 weeks is kind of stretching it. Depends how warm your house is. But somehow those bananas magically morph into a chocolate banana bread. So this here is a pretty tasty bread. Randy is just a basic banana bread recipe. I'm pretty sure I put it on the Low-sal-life website under the recipe section. And the reason why I like this one is because Randy puts in chocolate, he actually takes out some of the sugar in it. There's hardly any sugar in it, so that is nice. And then of course we make it with our organic, not fortified wheat flour, so that's pretty tasty. And of course I've made banana bread with gluten-free flours before and they come out great. So the thing with bananas is that they have been low, but with those bound salicylates they have been reclassified high. That doesn't mean you should avoid them, just know that there might be a possibility you might react to them. So the train, I'm just going to talk over the train. So in that case, you might want to wait until they're very ripe to eat them because salicylates decrease with ripening. And then also cooking them helps a little tiny bit, and then just don't eat a whole bunch. So like this is a whole half loaf cake which has 1 full banana in it. So I'm going to eat, you know, a slice of it, like 1/4 of this at the most. So, you know, just don't overdo it. All right, it's snack time. All right, well, I was going to have cream with my coffee, but our cream is fresh, it's raw, it gets delivered on Fridays and by the farmer, a delivery person, and it lasts exactly 6 days. Like maybe Thursday morning we could get some, but really it lasts until Wednesday night. So what I do is I'll freeze like a cup worth, like so maybe like 5 ounces or so, and I'll defrost it like on Wednesday night, and then I'll use it Thursday and a smidge on Friday morning until my delivery comes in. But I've totally forgot to pull it out. So it is hard as a rock. I've probably had some slightly acidic cream for the day, but you know, whatever. It wasn't bad enough to make it taste bad, but it's not as fresh as it could be. So I will be drinking my coffee black, which is just fine, and I will be enjoying my buttered chocolate banana bread. And then I'll see you guys at dinner time. Man, my hair is flat, my makeup's rubbed off. It must be the end of the day. So I wanted to get here way sooner because I'm hungry. It's just been a late day. I just literally spent an hour and 15 minutes with Google Play support trying to get a search bar on a book that I bought from them. It's like a 900-page reference material that's like super dense. It's like thumbing through a dictionary, except it's not in alphabetical order. So anyway, it's been a day. So right now it is 8:45. I go to bed at 10, and I have to cook a chicken, eat dinner, and work out. So I think the first thing I'm gonna do is put the chicken in, because it needs to take about an hour. And I'll just show you really quick how I do it. It maybe takes 5 minutes to prep it, and then you just gotta cook it until it's up to temp. The first thing I'm gonna do is rinse it out and clean out the cavity inside. And then I'm gonna throw it in a baking dish. After that, I have melted a little bit of tallow in the microwave. Now you can use any of the seed oils that you are used to using if you prefer that. I prefer tallow for this because I usually cook my chicken a little bit higher temperature, like around 375 degrees Fahrenheit, because they just cook a little bit faster and the skin gets a little bit crispier. Sometimes up to 400. I'll do 400 today, so it can be done within that hour time frame. And then I top it with some salt, and that's it. Put it in the oven for, usually it's like an hour and 20 minutes at 375. I'm gonna do 400, so we'll probably hit an hour on that. And then you just wanna temp it at the end and make sure that it's high enough temperature. And I can never remember, I'll have to look it up, I'll put it on the screen. You just wanna make sure that it's high enough temperature, and that's how you know it's done. Don't go by the skin's golden or the juices run clear or anything like that. You do wanna temp it because we've got enough problems. We have enough problems to worry about. We don't need food-borne illness on top of that. I think I'm gonna have steak. Yeah. I've got just a little tri-tip steak in the fridge that I pulled out of the freezer a couple days ago, or 2 days ago. And yeah, I think that'll just be perfect. I'm just gonna have that with, I ended up remembering I had some chayote to use from the freezer, so I added them to my skillet. But then I forgot that chayote takes about 10 or 15 minutes to cook in the skillet this way, so I threw it in the microwave for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then I finished it off and added it. My steak was done, however. but it's just seared it a little bit just to add a little bit of flavor to it. I am just about done for the day, so I am going to enjoy my dinner. So, you know, it's a little small, but it's also really late, and I had a pretty big lunch, especially by the time I added my snack. I did want to say that I got some new colored plates, which is one of my biggest salicylate tips for people. If all your food is white or pale, you know, maybe think about investing in colored plates because your food will look much more appetizing. You know, it might be more appealing for kids to, you know, buy into the, you know, salicylate diet if they need to be on one. And so yeah, I was kind of excited. This here is meadow green. It's the Fiesta wear. I do a lot of vintage fashion, and my house was built in 1938. So eventually we are going to paint our cupboards like a mint green and do like a diner look in here. And you've seen my diner booth in shots earlier today, so I'm gonna reupholster that with a mint green and jade or kind of teal color. So we're looking for like a late 1940s diner, so it'll be really fun. I think that's it. I'll see you later. Bye.